Okay, I've been doing a little investigating here, and apparently these are pretty darn old and not measuring very well. Brought out the old tester here. They supposedly go bad over time. These leak voltage very badly. Every time you see somebody see one of these, they say replace these immediately. So I'm going to have to do some investigating, source a new eye tube. I have some. I don't know if they're the same, but I'll look. Looks like I'm going to have to replace some, even though it says mica mold, it's a film capacitor. This is a film capacitor. This is an electrolytic. I've read somewhere that a safety cap in here would be a good idea. I took out pretty much all the tubes and looked at them. So I'm going to have to source some parts because I definitely don't have anything that go up to 600 volts. And that's what all these say they're doing. So I got to do some ordering. This will be a multi-part little maneuver here while I try to figure out how to get this working. So clean up and ordering parts, and I guess eventually building a probe for it, which will require me to find some instructions on it somewhere, somehow. Let's make it safe, because I don't want to shock those fingers again. Wow! So here we are. I've been waiting for some parts, and they're here. I think I've mentioned this eBay seller before, Affinity for Artifacts. Eastjoy loves something, because not only does he send you a nice kit for things, if he has it, the instructions are fantastic. And if you're somebody like me, careful instructions are a really good thing. Not only that, he says, you can die! So don't do what I do. And it's step by step, almost like Heathkit itself, on how to do it, what to do, at least to get it recapped and somewhat functional, somewhat safe. I have determined I'll probably need a new eye tube, because this one is just not glowing very well anymore. It's a 7-pin. I unfortunately had a really nice older 6-pin that does glow, but I'm not going to do any sort of fancy change arounds or alterations or anything. So I'm just going to eventually order a new one of these and make sure all these other tubes actually function and work. But that's another day. We need to get in on this. So that's my plan. Slowly work through the process and the instructions on cleaning this up. And it even comes with a little board to replace the filter cap can if I want to. So I might do that, because I probably should. I'd like to keep the vintage look of it, so maybe I can fashion a way to can over this. I don't know. We'll find out. This might take a while, because I'm trying to be careful. Because like it said, high voltages, and I've already shocked the heck out of myself on this once, doing, I guess, my impression of electro boom with less safety. So hope I make it through this video. Okay. Been doing some measuring of various and sundry pieces and parts, checking resistors, seeing if any of them were really wild and crazy valued. At least so far, no. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 capacitors here to fix this electrolytic fellow here. Can't count. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then one on the other side. Okay, everything accounted for. Green ones are these 4. The yellow ones are these 5. These old Astron, they say mica caps, but they're not. This replaces this, and this resistor and these replace the filter caps. So everything's been accounted for. Now I just have to figure out how to wiggle my way in here and get the old ones out and the new ones in, where somebody has definitely built this themselves in the past, because they very carefully followed the installation instructions, marking things. So cool. Lots of soldering to do. I had to guess the hardest ones are going to be these pillows hiding in there, because I'm going to have to work around them somehow. I'll probably have to take other ones off before I can put new ones in. Let's get the tube out of the way. Tube socket. And not burn anything. Of course, as I do this, the sizes of these are much smaller, so I'll have more room as time goes on. Since tube stuff new to me, I've been doing some research. So a few hours of playing around, looking at tube stuff, capacitor stuff, and vintage information, and looking at lines and instruction manuals. Even though these are not polarized, say, apparently with older equipment, it's a good idea to figure out on your replacement parts, notice I marked this one, the outside foil, especially with test equipment, of your capacitor. The way you do that is kind of interesting. So if I did this right, the way to tell is you take your capacitor, which has no markings whatsoever, and you attach it to a nice little oscilloscope. And because it's test equipment, and you want the lowest amount of noise in your system, if it's connected right, you want your oscilloscope, me acting as an antenna, give the smallest amount of noise in here. So let's see, that's like 6 volts per division thing. Well, actually, it's 2 millivolts per division, but that's nearly 6 divisions. And you want to switch this around until this side, and the capacitor gives you the lowest noise ratio. Right now, I have this connected backward. You can see I marked this. And so if I turn it around, thank you to the University of YouTube out there. See if I connect this, now hit this, it's not nearly as much noise getting into the system. So again, that mark says this is the low end for the outside foil of your capacitor. Signal here, me acting as antenna, it's like 3.5 maybe divisions. Then the other way, acting as an antenna, much more. So I just went through the replacement parts and marked all the outer foil sides. And you would think they'd all be the same, but some of them it's on one side and some of them it's on the other side from the labeling. Now, is this necessary? Honestly, I don't know, but I am going to trust the experts out there, especially the old radio tinkerers and Mr. Carlson's lab, which you should never argue with, and follow along. By the way, he has a nice video on this as well. Probably will be much better than mine. But now that I know that it exists, I'm going to refer to it a lot, especially when I'm doing this. Back to work. From what I've learned, this one's in backwards. These, no telling. So some work's been done. It's really old. I think this has been repaired once in the past, a long time ago. These are old. These are very old. These wires are newish. And again, it kind of worked even before I started looking at it. I'm going to give it, my once over, and probably as I try to figure out how to finagle my way in, those are soldered together. That's very interesting. As I work my way through here, I'm going to probably retest and measure lots of resistors and things, including that big guy right here. I've never found the carbon resistors to stray that much, but if they're, outside 15%, I'll probably change them. Oh, work to do. How much wrapping around do they do? I wonder. A lot. So all these things have been bent around and through the loop. So I'll have to suck solder and probably do some bending. This was done earlier. These are done differently. That has insulation. There's no insulation on that one. This one has definitely no insulation on either side. Oh, the wires are insulated from things. Yeah, just lots to do. Check. I'm not even sure that pin is connected to the pin. Why would that be soldered together? That's metal shielding. I guess that's mostly grounded stuff anyway, so you should be fine. Trying to decide what to go after first. This side's easy, that side's near impossible. Maybe I'll try and desolder once I get that wire out of the way. Can I get that wire out of the way? Yes, I can. The side of the electrolytic cap. Pull it up and see what's going on underneath it. Okay, here we go. Trying not to melt anything. Can I get you off there without melting anything for myself? Proving not to be simple. There's always pondering about, is it leaded solder? Is it not leaded solder? What other things are attached to it? Don't short anything out. Don't like that. Melt a wire that happens to be touching it. Make sure you don't melt it to anything next door. Do I have my temperature right? There we go. Kind of listening. Slow, careful work. I think I'm going to have to resort to clipping some things out. I've desoldered the wire next to it really well. There we go. I just need to fish you out without breaking anything. It's ever easy. Like I said, this little project's going to take a while. Mostly in the desoldering category. I think after this one, I am going to do a clip maneuver because I don't want to do more damage undoing all the bended leads. Yeah, it's just a matter of pride. Yay! I don't know if you can see it. This wire is connected kind of next to it and awfully close to this one. I can't tell if that's damaged or not. So I'm going to have to be careful with that when I'm resoldering this. Like I said, I think the clip maneuver might be the better maneuver, especially looking at this one down here. Good grief for my, especially, I think the clip maneuver might be a better maneuver to clip these. You have to assess this wire here, make sure nothing bad's happened to it. Clip them, take them out, rather than try to rustle all these, because they've all gone through the holes and been bent back. Like this guy, you can see that one really clearly how it's gone through and bent. And getting the solder out is not an easy maneuver. So this will be many hours of work. And as I start working on this, I got my first one out. This is going to take me a while. I'm not really a fan of what I think was somebody else's work in here. A lot of these solder joints aren't exactly what I would call great. The wires in here are really crammed together, especially these purple ones. And the tolerances they gave some of this is awful. It's like, I look here, I don't know if you can see it, but this capacitor goes up underneath this wire and wraps up and around, and it's just all around this thing. And this resistor here is all convoluted and bent around these wires. So I think this is going to take me a while. Also noticed for the first time, there's some really old electrical tape hiding in here. I don't know if you can see that. Really old electrical tape hiding in there. And I don't know what's going on underneath it, but it attaches to one of these transformer wires, and the purple one comes out, even though it was working. I'm going to take a much more slow, methodic process with this, I think. So this video might become parts of a series as I slowly work through it. Well, you ever have one of those weeks where everything does not go to plan? I'll show you the current state of the Heathkit T-3. My plans have changed. It's become a thing. I started with just a simple, recap a few things, measure, try to replace a couple things, and further I got into it, the wackier it seemed to be. There were changes, there were odd choices, there were some switches that were not switching, and various other and sundry things. So I don't know what you've seen up until this point, but it's going to probably take a crazy Ivan turn. Um, let me show you what I mean. Here's what I mean. This is this. As you can tell, I've kind of gone backwards. I started working on it again, and there were some various things. This switch is completely foobarred, so, and it's not even a was it 2-pole 3-position one. It's some other let's see, 3-pole 4. It doesn't work. I can't make it switch. I've nothing to it. I've taken it all apart. I even started putting some of the new stuff in to replace some of the old things, and it just wasn't good. So I'm starting from pretty much scratch. I am going to pretend like this is a completely unbuilt system, replacing old components with new ones. Most of the resistors here are completely way out of resistance spec. Some of them triple, quadruple. One of them was just shorted as far as I could tell. Again, this thing was kind of working, but also kind of not. So it had a lot of problems. All the tubes seemed fine. I took out all the switches. Gives me a chance to clean the chassis. Maybe I'll restuff this wonderful thing with some replacement capacitors. So it's just got all kinds of pieces and parts everywhere. Again, my plan is to see if I can't just follow along and go step by step by step and rebuild this thing from the beginning. I have various and sundry conducting wire. I have some different signal wires I can try that have the outer coating sheath and the inner conductor, various types. Thinking I might go for this more robust one here that again has an outer shield and inner pronunciation to replace some of these components, how they were done. So I'm going back to this wide open kit here. Showed up, and I'm going to build it from the beginning instead of trying to fix what's already there. A lot of these wires over there were also kind of, done weirdly. So again, whoever built it, it was kind of working. It obviously got changed out because it had a different kind of connection. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep this old one or put in something new. This has drilled holes in it, so I might just keep this because again, I've got a connector for it. Maybe put a BNC on this. I really don't know, but I'm going back to the beginning. So maybe that'll be the next part. Basically, what I'm saying is I'm starting over. So part one was here is an introduction to it. Part two was a partial investigation, redo a few things, and find out. Let's go back to the beginning. Thanks to my 260 subscribers. Keep it up. If you like what you see, if you want to see what's going to happen here, because this could end up a disaster, we'll find out together. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, post somewhere down below where you're watching from, or how old you are, or what's your zodiacal sign. I'm trying to get noticed out there, especially with all the YouTube changes and rules about to completely submarine my thoughts of retirement. Eh, I'm supposed to, broadcast who I am. This is who I am. See you in a bit. Wish me luck.